Welcome to lecture number 18 for ECE 463 Modern Control, Servo Compensators, the generalized case. Now, where we left off, if I have a plant and I'm trying to track a constant set point or reject a constant disturbance, one way to do that is to add a servo compensator with a pole at s equals 0. What the servo compensator does is it then integrates the difference between y and the set point r, and then you use full state feedback to place all the poles of the augmented system, the plant, and the servo. If I'm trying to track a sine wave, what I do is I add a servo compensator that has poles at plus minus j omega, the same frequency as your disturbance. What that does is twofold. I track a sine wave, and I also reject a sinusoidal disturbance. Now, not too surprisingly, if you're trying to do both, track a constant and a sine wave, or reject a constant and a sine wave, or any combination thereof, the solution is to pick the servo compensator to have poles at the union of those spectra, at 0 and plus minus j omega. So the state space formulation of that is as follows. Assume I've got a plant with a disturbance, x dot equals ax plus bu plus b times d. I'll add a servo compensator. Your z dot equals az times z plus bz times y minus r. And I'll pick the servo compensator so that it's controllable and has set poles at 0 and plus minus j omega. In state space, the open loop system would be as follows. Your A0, BZC, AZ, same as we had before, except that AZ is now a 3x3 matrix. I've got poles at 0 and plus minus j omega. B is in U, BZ is R, and the disturbance goes through the B matrix. I now have my full state feedback gains, kx times x, kz times z. Or if you write the dynamics of the closed loop system, you get the following. To illustrate that, let's go through a couple examples. Starting, let's do a fourth order heat equation. Suppose I've got the fourth order heat equation, and I want to track a constant set point and reject a sinusoidal disturbance. And assume the disturbance is at 1 radian per second. In that case, I'll come up with the servo compensator with the poles at plus minus j omega and 0. That'll actually handle any set point that's a combination of constants and sine waves at 1 radian per second, and reject any disturbance that's a constant and or a sine wave at 1 radian per second. So the first step is to define my servo compensator. Pick one that's controllable and has poles at 0 and plus minus j omega. So here's one candidate. Again, this corner is a pole at plus minus j. This one is a pole at s equals 0. Step 2. Create the augmented system. So here I've got my A matrix, zeros matrix, in this case it's 4x3, BZ times C, and my servo, A state, AZ. The B matrix with respect to U, B matrix with respect to R, and the B matrix with respect to the disturbance. And this doesn't have to be the same as B, but in this case we'll just assume it is. Now design a full state feedback control law to meet the following design specs. Dominant poles at -1, and no overshoot. So that means the dominant pole goes at -1, and the other poles go somewhere. Let's use box score to place the poles. So here's your A, B, C, AZ, BZ. There's my augmented system, plant, and servo. My input with respect to U, and pole placement. Now the first 4 gains are Kx, last 3 gains are Kz, and I can check the step response. The step response would be as follows. I'll form the closed loop system. That's your A minus B times Kx. B with respect to R, and C7 I'm looking at the output, and D7 is just 0. T is your time vector. My initial conditions are 0, and my set point is just 1, R. Plot the step response with respect to a step, and to get the following. The red is my step, and the blue is the output. It's a little bit squirrely. When we had a supercompensator with a single pole, it just went straight to the output and stuck. Here it's got some wiggles in there. The reason is the control law doesn't know. Is my input a cosine, in which case it's going to go up and come down, and it's anticipating that, or is it a constant? So it goes up and thinks maybe it's a cosine, and realizes, nope, it's not, it's a constant, and eventually figures out what that constant is. So if you try that, with my set point right here is a constant at 1. The left-hand side is my control input. It's searching, trying to figure out what the input should be to force the output to go to 1. And it's trying to figure out, is it a sine wave? Nope, doesn't look like a sine wave. Is it a constant? Kind of looks like a constant. Eventually it'll settle out and figure out what the input needs to be to hold the output at 1. So that's tracking a constant set point. Let it run for a bit. And eventually it does track a constant set point. If I change it to a sine wave, let's rescale the axis. Now here's my set point. It's a sine wave going up and down. What the left side is trying to do is trying to figure out what constant, what sine wave do I need to get the output to track. Yeah, it looks like it's doing a pretty good job right now. That little plus sign is time. When the plus sign gets to the right, that's 20 seconds and the simulation is done. So I can track a sine wave, and I can do both. If I have a constant and a sine wave, again, I'll do both. So that's the Servo compensator. When you have 3 poles, pole at 0, plus minus j, I can do both. Track a constant and a sine wave. Now the step response might be kind of squirrely, because again, it's trying to figure out how much of the sine wave it is, how much of a step it is. But in steady state, it will track. And like here, you can see it is tracking the constant and a sine wave. Look at a disturbance. If I change the B matrix, and instead of making it the B matrix with respect to R, make it the B matrix with respect to the disturbance, I can take the step response and see that, yep, the output, the blue line, is rejecting the disturbance. It is tracking the set point, which is 0. And it can do both. I can track a constant set point and reject a sinusoidal disturbance. To do that, I change my B matrix. So I have 2 inputs, the B matrix with respect to R, B matrix with respect to D, and then my input, I have 2 columns. The first column is R, my set point, which is 1, and the second column is my disturbance, which is sine of t. So that's one example. Let's do another example. Let's look at a ball and beam system. In this case, I've got a 1.1 kilogram mass, 0.1 kilogram more than modeled, and I'm trying to track a constant and a sine wave. What that does is the extra mass gives me a constant disturbance. That's due to the displacing at 1 with extra 0.1 kilogram. And as it rolls back and forth at 1 radian per second, I also have a sinusoidal disturbance at 1 radian per second. So here I'm trying to do both. Track a constant and a sine wave, as well as reject a constant and a sine wave. The procedure is exactly the same as before. Given the plant, add a servo compensator. The servo compensator has poles at 0, plus minus j omega, and is fed the difference between y minus r, which should be minus sine here. I then choose full state feedback gains to stabilize the augmented system, giving me kx times x and kz times z. If I do that, I can track a 1 radian per second sine wave with a DC offset, which is kind of doing everything. And if I go into simulation and set the mass of the ball to 1.1 kilogram, it's supposed to be 1 kilogram, but I've got an extra 0.1 kilogram, which is going to cause a disturbance. Have the Servo compensator, in this case is at 2 radians per second. Let's see. If I try to track a constant set point, here's what happens. So my set point's at 1. Again, the Servo compensator doesn't know, is it 1 or is that a cosine? Is it coming back? So it first came back left, thinking it was going to be a cosine function, and found out, whoops, nope, it's not. Quickly corrected itself, and is now tracking the constant. That's a constant set point and a constant disturbance. Can I do a sine wave? So here would be a sine wave. My set point goes left, then right. It's pretty quickly figuring out what to do to track the sine wave. So yep, it can track a sine wave. Can it do both? I'm now centered at 1, going from 0 to plus 1. Correction, from minus 0.5 to plus 0.5. And it's doing that as well. So again, with a Servo compensator, I can track constants, I can track sine waves, I can do everything. One slight problem, however. Suppose I change the frequency of the disturbance. It's now 1 radian per second. Let's see what happens. So here's my set point. It's offset of 1, but shouldn't be a problem. I can track constants. And going back and forth at 1 radian per second. So here's trying. It's tuned for 0, it's tuned for 2 radians per second. It's not tuned for 1 radian per second. So if my input is instead 1 radian per second, I got it wrong. It just is not tracking. It's just out of phase. So that's the problem with Servo compensators. If you design it for a certain frequency, it'll work great at that frequency. If you got the frequency wrong, you've got a couple choices. One, I can scrap the old design, change the frequency of the Servo compensator, make it 1 radian per second, and now it'll work at 1, but then it won't work anymore at 2. Another option is I could sit there and model it, try to find the frequency of the disturbance or the set point before I redesign the compensator. I could design a Servo compensator to have a whole bunch of poles. I could have poles at 0, plus minus j.5, j1, j1.5, j2. This will track at any of those 5 frequencies, but that results in a 9th order compensator, and you start getting stability issues. If there's modeling errors in the plant, it may or may not be stable. I could do adaptive control. I could estimate the frequency of R of t in real time and calculate my Servo compensator accordingly. That would be adaptive control system. That's a different class. I could do a self-tuning regulator. I could estimate the next value of R of t in real time and then determine the input that drives y of t to R of t. Again, that's a different class, but that's all areas that come out of modern control. And there are more options as well. So in summary, if you're trying to track a constant set point and or reject a constant disturbance, you can add a Servo compensator with a pole at s equals 0. If you're trying to track or reject a sinusoidal set point or disturbance, I could add a Servo compensator with poles at plus minus j omega. If I'm trying to do both, I could add a Servo compensator with poles at 0 and plus minus j omega. But the servo's starting to get higher and higher order. I'm getting more and more complicated control law. The result can be a very high order compensator, And the step response can get pretty squirrely as the compensator tries to figure out what you're trying to do. But that's the result you get with this approach. If the results are too squirrely, you might want to do something different, such as what I mentioned before, adaptive controllers, robust controllers, self-tuning regulators, a different version of control, but that's a different class. So that's lecture number 18 for ECE 463 Modern Control, the Generalized Servo Compensator.